Hi, this is Eva Cartman, host of the Dream Big podcast show, the place to go to learn, laugh, and grow. I spent a lot of time in the past few months in Big Bear, where I was constantly amazed by the beauty of nature. Just the beauty in the snow-covered mountains, the trees, the lakes. That's why I think it was a complete shock to my system when we visited Las Vegas this past weekend. Las Vegas is in the middle of a desert. You drive tens of miles with nothing in sight in any direction. And then boom, you arrive. And you won't believe what has been built by our fellow humankind. I wanted to share some quick lessons and stories from my weekend in Vegas. There's an old saying, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Well, that's not going to be the case today, because I'm about to tell you exactly what happened. You know what time it is. This is episode 298 of the Dream Big podcast, and it's time to dream big.
My name is Eva Cartman. I'm part of a squad of super kids that are here to change the world. We don't believe you need to be adults to have big goals and start working towards your dreams. We believe age is just a number, and you're never too young to make a difference. We may be young, but we are not naive. We understand that achieving our big dreams will not be easy. It will take incredible dedication, hard work, and yes, massive action. There will be ups and downs, but we embrace the challenges and relish pushing outside of our comfort zone because this is how we grow. They may not teach us these concepts in our school textbooks, but we are smart enough to know that the tools and tactics to achieve our big dreams are out there. And we are willing to do the work to seek out these skills and master them because we know that our future depends on it. We are the big dreamers, and it's time to dream big.
Before we dive into this week's episode, here's Silly Sophia to make us all laugh.
Why don't swords ever become obsolete? They're cutting edge technology. Why did the stadium get so hot after the game? All the fans left.
Thank you, Sophia. Okay, let me tell you about my weekend. On Thursday night, my parents said we have a surprise. And with my parents, that can mean anything, because we tend to plan things at the last minute, so you never know what they have up their sleeves. Well, it turns out that Big Bear is only a 3-hour drive to Las Vegas, so they said, we're going to Vegas. Now, I had been to Vegas before a few times, but this time we had been living in a small town with no multi-story buildings, just a handful of neighborhood restaurants, and where after it gets dark, everything is pretty much pitch black. Now, contrast that to Vegas. After driving about 3 hours through the desert with almost the entire drive not seeing any hint of human life in any direction you look, you suddenly arrive in what feels like a fantasy world. Now, for those of you who have been to Vegas, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But for those of you who haven't, there's a street called Las Vegas Boulevard. And on either side of that boulevard, there are the most magnificent hotel resorts that you could possibly imagine. Like, there's one called Luxor, that's a pyramid. You know, like the ones they have in Egypt. Well, they built a pyramid in Las Vegas. Then there's Excalibur, which looks like a medieval castle. New York is, well, you guessed it, a hotel version of New York City with the skyline and Statue of Liberty. Then there's a Paris hotel with the Eiffel Tower. And you can time travel to ancient Rome at Caesar's Palace. Take a trip through the canals of Venice at the Venetian. The list goes on and on and on. And as I was looking around and taking in all these architectural masterpieces, I was reminded of the title of this podcast, Dream Big. The founders of Vegas to dream up this destination in the middle of the desert and all the incredible builders who had been building on that vision, it's truly remarkable. Like, you really have to see it to believe it can be possible. Now, let me just share a few of my favorite memories of the trip, which again re-inspired me to dream bigger than ever. We had an amazing time at our hotel pool, which was the Mandalay Bay. They call their pool the beach, and they have an actual wave pool, which, you guessed it, generates waves that you can ride. You would think that you'd have to go to an actual beach to ride waves, but not in Vegas. They also have a lazy river, which is a pool that has a current that carries you around so you don't have to swim. Hence why they call it the lazy river. Last time I was in a real lazy river was in Mexico, in a natural one. But at the Mandalay Bay Hotel, they built a lazy river, complete with 2 waterfalls that you get to go under. Another favorite highlight was riding the roller coaster at the New York Hotel. So not only do they have a hotel that has a skyline that looks like New York and a replica of the Statue of Liberty, they also built a roller coaster that takes you on a tour of New York in the most thrilling way you can imagine. I love roller coasters, so of course as soon as I saw it, I knew I had to do it. And my parents got me a package where I was able to ride it as many times as I wanted. So I went 3 times during the day and then came back at night to ride it again. You also get an incredible view of the Las Vegas resorts, although most of the time you're focused on the huge drops and loops that you're experiencing on the ride. And then finally, the highlight of the trip was seeing David Copperfield perform. David Copperfield is a magician that my parents remember watching as a kid. So it was a really cool moment for them to bring me and my sister to watch him perform. Talk about dreaming big. This is a man who dreams up the most incredible illusions. The entire time, he has the audience with their jaws drop because you can't believe, like truly can't believe what your eyes are seeing. The show's title is Live the Impossible, and that's definitely what you experienced during the show. Watching over and over again with your own eyes things that should not be possible, but you just saw it. Really, I just wanted to record this episode fresh back from my trip to Vegas because it did inspire me and my family to dream big. Of course, that's something we do already, but when you visit a place that's so magical and have so many extraordinary experiences, you cannot help but be inspired. And I am more inspired than ever to dream big, to not settle, to believe that just because something doesn't exist today doesn't mean that it can't exist. Las Vegas definitely proves that. That's all for today. This is Eva Cartman reminding you that you have limited potential. Your dreams are not optional, you need to make them essential. So take massive action to turn those big dreams into reality. Live with passion the way life was meant to be. I'll see you next episode. Bye!